versus negative reinforcement, and everything in between. I'm here to tell you that dogs, like children, can be raised with rules that will be different and apply to your family. I'm encouraging you to recognize there are no hard and fast rules. There are rules that you're going to teach your dogs to live by. So, negative reinforcement training and negative reinforcement trainers who are prevalent in the world out there use scruff shaking, use shock collars, use pinning to train a dog. What that does is it intimidates a dog and it teaches them to inhibit certain behavior out of fear. It doesn't encourage respect or trust. And this is the problem, because now you've seen what skyrocket. Aggression, what are called ARBs. Does anyone know what that stands for? Abnormal repetitive behavior, or stereotypies, lick granulomas, pacing. So all of a sudden these behaviors skyrocket. Why? Because we're treating them like animals to be controlled instead of family members to be understood. When you're out there looking for a trainer, seek someone who understands that dogs have the brain capacity of a 2-year-old child. What do we know about 2-year-old children? First of all, they are smart. They know how to control their parents. So, positive reinforcement training, what does that mean? First of all, it means recognizing that your dog wants to communicate, wants to connect to you, but is doing it in a very different form. What do we use as humans to communicate? Language. When you talk to a dog and expect them to understand you, you are guaranteed to what? Fail, because they are not programmed that way. How do dogs communicate? Dogs communicate with their posture. When you're working with a dog, you want to understand that a lot of what you may see as understanding is truly fear. Who wants to be my example?
You want a fearful dog?
No, I want a human with a solid constitution. Who's going to pretend to be my dog? Anybody want to do it? She's my dog. She's even my child. Forget dog. She's my child. Pretend to read this. Take it. Let's say I didn't want her to read that newsletter. I want to read another one. And I communicate it. No! Don't take that one! Not that one! That's the wrong one! Bad child. How is she going to feel?
Scared.
So scared. And I'm going to look at her and say, oh, she knows. She knows she took the wrong one. When your dogs take something that belongs to you, they don't know. They don't know that you bought it at whatever, Pier 1 last week on sale. All they know is it's wood and it tastes and it satisfies their chewing penchant. So when you're communicating to a dog, a couple of things to bear in mind. Can you hold that? Running straight at them is what? Confrontational, aggressive. If you want to raise a dog well, you have to connect and train and bond with their impulse to play, to connect, to seek attention, not elicit fear and panic. So approaching a dog, you'll notice when I approach dogs, I always turn my hip, everybody says hip to head. Whether it's your dog or any other dog, until the dog knows you and feels safe, always approach hip to head. Straight on approach, even if it's a positive. Oh my God, I love those glasses! Look at the glasses, right? It's overwhelming. If I think that's a beautiful, is that a mini Aussie? And I come straight at your mini Aussie, they're not going to know, because we're not dogs. It's like a silverback gorilla running up to you. I'll approach your dog and do what? Under to up. And you can see, even when I was coming up, your dog's like, what are you petting the top of my head for? It's unnatural. And so remember this, in positive reinforcement training, it boils down to the way you communicate. It boils down to empathizing with your dog's life experience. Where are they coming from? How many of you have rescued dogs?
I have.
Right. Now, a lot of older rescues, or even the small rescues that have been shipped, are somewhat unsure about human connections. Whenever I see someone privately, or I go into someone's house, I always have what I call Sarah's bag of tricks. And I go in and I dig into my bag, often for either a treat cup. It's just a cup. I got it at CVS. You can make it out of Tupperware. A cup with treats. Whoopsie. Everybody show me a flat palm. When you're giving treats to a dog, flat palm, what do you do if the dog jumps? Bring it up. When they come down, you drop it underneath their chin. Then you don't have to lunge and grab. So either a treat cup, or I love this new product. You have to keep it up because the dogs will chew it.
I just got those for my dog.
When it's a lickety stick, I have some if you want to snag one. They're great. They're so neat. And you go under. The reason why, when introducing to a dog, you don't go up is don't go at them from above, because why? Foreign object approaching at a rapid speed, they'll back right up. So you approach. Once they're used to it, they don't care. You know, you can drop it on their head. They'll be happy. But lickety sticks are great. If you have a dog that's somewhat fearful, this is a great thing to hand people. If you have a dog that's somewhat excitable, get them used to seeing this and doing what? Then you're conditioning through positive reinforcement without doing what? Saying so much. We spend too much time telling them what to do, and it's overwhelming. It would be like me talking to you. You don't know what I'm saying. It's just like, wow, you talk. It's important to take into account the dog's age, breed, and temperament, personality. Is this a puppy? Puppies have natural life stages that they go through: infancy, adolescence. I'll tell you a funny story. So a month and a half ago, was a good little puppy, you know, good. I say come, she looks at me. You can see the wheels turning. Does a complete 180 and takes off. It's a sign of normal development. You want an adolescent dog that listens, processes, and does the opposite, because they're trainable. If you have an adolescent that's too conditioned out of fear, they're eventually gonna just separate and ignore you and do their own thing. When you're working with a dog, remember that their way of communicating, all training boils down to, is teaching English as a second language. So for example, if you were a dog and I wanted to teach you to go to Matty when I said Matty, I wouldn't look at you and say Matty, 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 because you're a dog. You don't understand what that means, correct? And this is the same if you want to teach a dog to go outside, to go to the bathroom, or to go upstairs. I would say to you, Matty, and I'd use what I do, my little bowling signals. Everybody do little bowling signals. Watch, everybody, watch this. Hold it. Bow. All these dogs are signal trained before they're trained to commands. What that does is it talks to them in what? Their language. Dogs can communicate in postures. So, Matty, after I do that 10 times, when you hear Matty, what are you going to do? And it's the same with outside, inside, upstairs. If every time I want my dog to lie down or sit and I guide them there with food or a reward, they'll learn the behavior and the word are connected. But dogs, when they communicate, and how you read a dog and how you listen to a dog, they communicate with their eyes. If you're looking at a dog, they're processing the moment. So we want to make sure we look at dogs when they're cooperating. You want to teach them that the connection comes when they're behaving well. For example, Mason was acting pretty aggressively towards other dogs. He has leash aggression, something I talk about in that newsletter up there. So he was aggressively going at other dogs, and you couldn't help look at him because you had to brace yourself to hold him. Because you're postured, because you were behind him, because he was focused on the other dog and reacting, it was getting reinforced over and over and over again. Now, he was handling him on a choke chain. Negative reinforcement trainers love the neck, the chain collars as a general rule. I put him on an easy walk so we could hold him gently and in line with his normal posture behind you, where you're in front, he's behind, and we muzzled him so that you can socialize him ad nauseum and not have to worry about a lawsuit. And muzzles are wonderful for dogs that are dog aggressive because you have to socialize them and show them that it's a positive thing. If a dog is in front, they will become self-reliant. Right now you are in what I call the world beyond. Where's their den? Your den is their den is your home. It's where things are most predictable. You see a lot of transitional excitement when people are coming and going. Your area around your home, they consider their territory. They become protective.
My dad's a poster child for that.
Everything else is the world beyond. When the dogs are in the world beyond, if they're in front of you, they're not going to reference you. If they don't reference you, they're simply going to react. Dogs that are allowed to walk in front do a lot of staring. When they're staring, they're trying to read a situation. So the most important thing you teach a dog in the world beyond is to reference you if they're unsure. Otherwise, they become reactive, which is just, or self-protective. Now, one of the most important things with a puppy is you want to have the puppy on something, or you want to make sure when the puppy's greeting people, you can let the leash loose. Because it's when it's tight and the dog is a fix that they start to feel trapped and reactive. So we teach the dog back, not by looking at them and shouting, but by using what I call their pressure points. Right here, pressure points, hip pockets, or just gently guiding them. Once they're there, you can use food treats. It's not completely necessary, especially with the shepherd. Labs love the food treats and they remember, but shepherds just want a shepherd. With a German shepherd or even an Aussie, they either view people in the category of shepherds or sheeps. So you want to make sure you teach that dog to reference you. He was a rescue. The first thing I told him is don't look at people, don't stare. It's unnerving. And when he looked, he was trying to read the person so he would react. No, you look to me, you reference me. So you teach Sarge, it's very simple, back. And all back means is come and stand behind me. So when he sees something or a dog is approaching aggressively, he doesn't feel propelled to what? Become self-defensive. One of the things I recommend highly with puppies is a long line. I recommend it with big dogs, even him when he starts getting there. A long line just allows your dog to what? Freedom. Freedom is the choicest way to bond to a dog. If they are given freedom, they're allowed to do what? Be natural. They're not animals in a zoo. They're allowed. So even if you have to take him somewhere 10 minutes a day, I tell everybody, try to get out with your dog. Either have him in a fence or let him run free on a long line. And don't say anything. Because they need to be allowed. When they run over to me, what do I always have in my back pocket? And then I say, come. So what do my dogs learn? Come means reconnecting, and they learn it's positive. And a positive reinforcement trainer relishes a dog's natural personality and fosters behaviors and games and skills that enhance what they do passionately, attaching words so that the dog loves to listen because it's always an invitation to have fun. You need to learn to sniff butt. When you walk up to a dog, walk sideways, sniff butt. What a leash does is forces them head to head, where there's an explosion. So let's say you want your dog to greet another dog. Okay, so now they're calm. Now say, go say hello. Go say hello. Totally loose lead so they can do it naturally. So you wait for that explosive stuff to go away, tell them to wait, and then let them go and maybe the dog. So, I always recommend when you approach other dogs, and you see it, You see it? I could take any dog that's behaving badly, turn him around and stare at him. See how the woman's struggling? The dog's in front of her. Thus, the dog is not doing what? It's not referencing her. It is now, it's more self-protection. Some people see it as protecting the woman, but you can see she doesn't know. She's smoking a cigarette, she's like chilling out. She's holding the dog so tight that the dog feels what? Trapped, and it's unnatural. So the dog gets more explosive, and then the person says the dog is aggressive. No! The dog is forced into that role for lack of human knowledge. It's not that people are stupid or mean or hate dogs, it's that they don't know, and they're being reinforced by negative reinforcement trainers who solve the problem by doing what? Choke collar, shock collar, yeah. It's not the answer, it's not the solution. Oh, I love these easy walk harnesses because they just guide him back, or gentle leader. And you just need it, like I just needed to show him. There are times I will use a prong collar, an e-collar if the dog is hurting itself or hurting another dog, but it's like, I could count on the times in a year I use it. But if you start now conditioning him with get back with an easy walk harness or a gentle leader, he'll learn it and it will be his way of life. You won't have to use it forever. I don't even need to have him on a leash. I recommend that everybody start with 10 to 20 words from the get-go to teach the dog to listen for cues. So tonight, go home and write down upstairs, downstairs, inside, kitchen. Yeah, words so that they learn to alert to human language, because it's not natural. When you're teaching the words, use a bowling cue when you're moving, and don't look at them. So if it's, car or outside, show them. I'm huge into having the dogs ring the bell. This signal's very important. Everybody show it to me. It's what I call the fasten your seatbelt sign. Stay is equivalent to a pilot telling you to fasten your seatbelt through turbulent waters. So, right away, this is praise. Can everybody do this? What's the difference between petting and praise? Petting focuses you on the dog. It's interactive. It's good, but it's interactive. Praise keeps their focus on you. It's necessary when you're directing them.
Our love is beautiful. It's like big bunches of flowers, two hands full. It's like a show becoming a Broadway hit that just keeps on running. Our love is beautiful. It's a Sunday morning ride on a carousel. It's a picnic lunch under a tree. Our love is beautiful. Look and see.